These verbs and expressions may be related, but they are used in different ways. Let's see how to use them correctly. This is probably the most frequent expression, to make sure that something happens, or perhaps to make sure to do something, or to make sure of something. You use this when you do something to be sure that something happens, to make sure that something else happens. So, for example, when you leave home, make sure to turn off the lights. Make sure, have a look at the lights and make sure that you have turned off the lights. You can say, make sure you have all the ingredients. If you're going to prepare a dish, make sure that you have all the ingredients you need. Or in this conversation, somebody may ask, can you make sure my plants are watered while I'm on holiday? And the other person may say, I'll make sure of that. Yeah, don't worry. I'll make sure of that. This expression is related perhaps to the verb to ensure, but you can ensure something. This time you can use a noun, which you can't use with make sure. And you can also ensure that something happens. The idea is to make something certain to happen, to make sure that something happens or that is definite. So, for example, you can say, if you work in the police force or a firefighter, you can say, we work to ensure people's safety. In this case, you use a noun. Or, for example, if you're talking about a football match, you can say that that goal ensured the place in the final, the team's place in the final. And again, the main element here is a noun. You could also say that the government needs to ensure, needs to make sure that every citizen has a place to live in. However, these cannot be confused with the verb to assure, which is perhaps closer to the meaning of promise. If you promise something, if you promise that something is going to happen, you say something, you tell somebody that something is true. If you assure somebody that something is going to happen, you tell them that this is going to happen. You could say, for example, I assure you the works will be finished on time. Imagine I'm refurbishing my kitchen, I'm redecorating my house. So the builders might say, I assure you that the works will be finished on time. I promise, I give you my assurance that the works will be finished on time. Or, for example, if I'm talking about my car being repaired, perhaps they assured him the car would be ready the next day. So they promised, they give them their assurance. They said, don't worry, the car will be ready. They assured him the car would be ready the next day. If what you want to do is not just assure somebody that something's going to happen, but perhaps to comfort this person, to stop them from worrying, then what you would say is that you reassure somebody. So you could say something like, I was nervous on my first day at work, but I was reassured to see friendly faces. Or, for example, if I'm waiting for a refund from an online store, and I'm worried that perhaps they're not going to give me that refund, I could say, the online store reassured me that I would get my refund in 3 days. They promised, they said they would, so they tried to put my mind at ease, to comfort me, to stop me from worrying. They reassured me.